So what was the question again? Oh, why is it called the traffic jam? Well, the reason is, it's because I have two really cool cars. Seriously cool cars. And I love drifting, racing, because I am fast and slick. And plus, I like to create a bit of traffic jam myself with a whole lot of great music. Bulubunaka, my name is Real, your host and DJ, right here on the Today FM Traffic Jam, every weekday from 3 p.m. to 7. Right here on Today FM, today's hit music.
In this bulletin, the Nandi Weather Office continues to enforce a heavy rain warning as Superstorm Pam moves away. 207 Fijians are currently being housed in 5 evacuation centers. And divisional commissioners continue to monitor the weather situation. Good evening, I'm Akosita Tale and this is FBC News. Severe tropical cyclone Pam has left a trail of destruction in Vanuatu with unconfirmed reports of fatalities and extensive damage to infrastructure. The Nandi Weather Office continues to enforce a heavy rain warning for Fiji as Superstorm Pam moves further away. Christopher Chan reports.
The only threat to the country is associated heavy rain which could cause floods. Cyclone Pam is now accelerating southwards, moving towards New Zealand.
We will be assessing the situation as we go along in next 12 to 18 hours. Should there be a necessary for us to downgrade them, we will do that.
Monster storm Pam, the most powerful in recent years, hit straight out at Vanuatu yesterday. Footage emerging from the capital Port Vila shows the catastrophe in the aftermath.
We have lost communications with our counterparts in Vanuatu. That was at 9 p.m. yesterday when the land areas were experiencing about 40 knots winds. So far we are not able to establish any communication with Vanuatu. However, given that the full-scale tropical cyclone has been affecting Vanuatu for more than 12 hours now, the effects would have been really severe.
More sadly, there are dozens of unconfirmed fatalities in Vanuatu, a country still reeling from the terrifying experience.
Last tropical cyclone of this magnitude was Tropical Cyclone Zoe, which was in December 2002. Which had a central pressure of about 890. In comparison to that, Pam's central pressure at 8 a.m. this morning was 899. So it is almost a little over a decade when we had a severe tropical cyclone of this magnitude.
By tomorrow, TC Pam will exit the Fiji Meteorology's area of responsibility, gradually decreasing to a Category 4 cyclone. Christopher Chand, FBC News.
207 Fijians are currently being housed in 5 evacuation centers in Taveuni and the Western Division. According to the acting director of the National Disaster Management Office, Akapusi Tuifangalele, the evacuees were moved because of flooding in their surrounding areas. Maggie Boyle tells you more.
While the effects of Tropical Cyclone Pam haven't been felt as harshly across Fiji, emergency measures have had to be activated. Acting Director of the National Disaster Management Office, Akapusi Tuifangalele, says more than 200 people are now being sheltered in evacuation centres.
Only five evacuation centres have still not been cleared. The total roll is about 207, 100 from Wairiki in Taveuni. That is the Wairiki Primary School. The rest of them are for the Batavo areas.
According to Tuifangalele, while TC Pam has been kind to us, emergency teams will remain on alert with a heavy wind and rain alert still active.
Hoping that as the weather improves, although the warning, the the strong wind warning is still in for the country. We still be careful. The rain band that hovers above Fiji, not all has gone. So we still play that alert role and the need for our communities to be protected.
The NDMO is expected to make a call tomorrow on whether to continue with its emergency teams or suspend operations. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
Divisional commissioners around the country will continue to monitor the weather situation as Cyclone Pam moves away. The public have been advised that warnings are still in place and not to take it lightly despite there being no direct cyclone threat to Fiji. With Cyclone Pam posing no direct threat to the Fiji group, damages are expected to be limited. However, this will not deter the various divisions from sticking to the weather warnings issued earlier. Commissioner West Manasa Tangitakimbau says that while rain and strong winds have calmed down, they will continue to monitor the situation.
Even though we had a bit of heavy rain last night, there were no reported flooding, and this was mainly due to the preparedness state of the division, the town councils, the communities. They were working hard on clearing drainage systems, waterways. All roads are accessible. We have not had any reports on damaged roads.
Tangitakimbau says his team, including provincial administrators and district officers, will continue to assess and collect information on any damages from their various divisions.
Just canvassing the whole of the Western Division in terms of identifying areas that needs to be addressed. But as it is, Western Division situation seems to be normal.
The Eastern Division will also remain on standby.
Preparation for all respective ministries and government departments are still on because we are preparing for the floods and the rain that normally follow tropical cyclones.
The public have been advised to take the necessary precautions. Attempts to reach the central and the northern DPOs proved futile when this bulletin was prepared. Dozens of people are feared dead after tropical cyclone Pam struck Vanuatu last night. Communications to the capital Port Vila and the southern islands that were the worst hit with cyclone Pam making landfall there remain disconnected. This report from Al Jazeera. Coming up after the break, the Public Enterprise Ministry says the new AM transmitter platform for Fiji will be essential during natural disasters.
Wala una siya mai hana gona koru taki na yan rubangi kebika na mau to mai buga tali tu na bi serre wara ke muni na gona koru taki ngo na yan rubangi enam pula FM nimbolo benaka oya wo bika na isoro ranyo na to mani mai na vito ne ka biki na tini karuan ng bongi lebo ena gona koru taki sekoya na yan rubangi enam pula FM enam bandua ena serre.
Great words there from Lucky Dube and Baban. I hope you enjoyed that number. Different colors just for you. On Gold FM, only the classic hits. Louise with you on the Center Show. Well, thank you so much for the sweet company. This is Alana Miles, one of my favorites, and Black Velvet for you. Hi there. Join me on the Center Show every weekday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. for the best sounds on Gold FM. Only the classic hits.
Society is sorting out emergency supplies to assist those affected by tropical cyclone Pam in Kiribati and Tuvalu. The International Federation for Red Cross has requested the Fiji Red Cross Society to provide them with some assistance after king tides in the wake of tropical cyclone Pam wreaked havoc across the two small island states. Disaster Management Coordinator Esero Malendua says relief supplies are being packed to be airlifted as soon as flights resume.
We are looking at supplying our black packs, which contain clothes. They've also requested for emergency shelters in the form of tarpaulin and also some hygiene kits and also some kitchen sets.
Lendua says figures on how many people have been affected remain uncertain, with the society allocating close to 100 emergency supply kits for urgent shipment. Market vendors selling outside of the Suva market are threatening strike action because of the condition of the space provided to them by the Suva City Council. Sakyusa Naivua was at the market today and spoke to some of the unsatisfied market vendors.
With the heavy rain across the country and particularly in the capital, a few market sellers here are complaining that it has damaged their produce given the facilities offered to them by the Suva City Council. Lazarus Sawanga, who has been a market vendor for more than a decade, he told FBC News most of the sellers have to find shelter themselves during heavy downpours.
Everyone gets wet during bad weather, even though we have to put up tarpaulin to prevent us from getting wet. This including those who comes from the villages during the weekends to sell their produce. It is so unfair because those of us selling outside are paying $3.40 and those who are sheltered inside are just paying $2.90.
Wanga says it's unfair for them to pay more and still have to provide their own tarpaulin for shelter. Isabel Wati Singh, who travels all the way from Dausamu in Tailevu, says improvement to the market are long overdue.
We've been here long, coming from the village to sell our produce in the market, and we don't find any improvement in the environment, especially in selling our produce. Like we're sharing one block, about 3 to 4 people just sharing one block, and we're paying $3.40 each, which is not fair. And when it rains, we get wet.
FBC News tried contacting Suva City Special Administrator Chandu Umaria for a comment, but he could not be reached when this bulletin was prepared. Sakyusa Naivua, FBC News.
The Public Enterprise Ministry says the new AM transmitter platform for Fiji will not only help in terms of the public broadcasting services, but it will be important during natural disasters. Permanent Secretary Shaheen Ali says the AM frequency has a more comprehensive reach countrywide compared to the FM frequency. Shireen Lata reports.
It's a project between the Japanese government, the government of Fiji and the Fiji Broadcasting Corporation. And the groundwork has been laid for work to begin on a new AM transmitter platform for Fiji.
It's very important, which is why we have supported this, and the support has come from the Fijian government, the Prime Minister, the Minister for Public Enterprises also, because we recognize the importance that this project will have.
Shaheen Ali says medium wave radio is still a very important communications mean, especially in terms of disasters.
About 8.1 million US dollars will be used for the new equipment, including the new antenna and the transmitter house. After that, Fijian people can listen the AM radio through the new equipment.
Under the MOU which was signed yesterday, the Japanese government, through the Japanese International Cooperation Agency, will construct a new AM frequency transmission site in Naulu, Nakasi, outside Suva. Fiji Broadcasting Corporation Chief Executive Ria Sayat Kayum says the project will enable FBC to broadcast 2 radio stations on the new bands.
The significant thing about this project, when it's completed, will mean that instead of the old days where we had 5 AM centers around the country, we will now have only one consolidated AM center in Naulu, which means, of course, that we have to increase the transmitting power. There will be a lot more power that is used, a bigger transmitting service, but it saves on a lot of issues in terms of cost, transportation, and most importantly, it gives us one point to work at.
The project is expected to finish in 2017. Shireen Lata, FBC News.
Fiji needs to improve reproductive health and sexual education. Members of Parliament attended a workshop yesterday, to strengthen their role in overseeing Fiji's commitments to population and reproductive health. Alan Stoltz reports.
It's hoped that these MPs will have a better understanding of gender, population and development issues and integrate them into national policies and laws.
In partnership with other relevant government-line ministries and CSOs, the Fiji government will strengthen and mobilize community participation to 1. Ensure the presence of the ICPD program of action at community level to the women's and young people's institutions, including educational institutions. 2. To promote sexual and reproductive health, including improving accessibility of contraceptives.
The workshop was organized by the International Planned Parenthood Federation in partnership with the Engaging Parliaments Pursuing Development Agency. Speaker of the House, Dr. Chikuru Veni, says youth in Fiji are still hesitant to ask for help from health centers and hospitals or even get condoms and birth control advice. Reproductive and Family Health Association of Fiji Executive Director Matalita Seva says more needs to be done to educate people on reproductive health.
We intend to prioritize adolescent and sexual reproductive health and rights, including through comprehensive sexuality education and establish accessible sexual and reproductive health and mental health services for youth in schools and other educational institutions, youth organizations, faith-based organizations and communities, ensuring their meaningful participation.
Dr. Luveni says while Fiji leads the Pacific in many areas of gender empowerment, MPs still have an important oversight role to ensure all women and girls are able to access all health services equally. Ellen Stalls, FBC News.
The South Pacific Tourism Exchange has received $50,000 from ANZ to support its regional event in Melbourne, Australia in June. The sponsorship will ensure the region's premier tourism exchange will cater for 160 tourism operators from 16 member states of the SPTO. Sakyu Sanaivo reports.
The South Pacific Tourism Exchange says the sponsorship is a boost for the SPTE 2015 in efforts to tap into the potential for small island economies.
Therefore, through this sponsorship, we're able to ensure that our 16 member countries in the region can be represented in this international event. It is not easy for the island countries to come together and promote tourism. And it is also a challenge for us to put together an event of this magnitude without, partners like your good self.
ANZ CEO Fiji and the Pacific, Vishnu Mohan, says tourism remains a key area of focus for the bank in this region.
As most of you know, tourism represents a significant proportion of South Pacific Islands' GDP. For example, in PNG, it represents over a third of the country's GDP. In Vanuatu, it's over 2/3. Kiribati, a quarter. Countries like Solomon Islands, Tonga, nearly 15% of the country.
Mohan says tourism contributes a lot to the Pacific economy, thus will help create more job opportunities and influence the growth of other sectors. The SPTA two-day event will be hosted at the Melbourne Convention Centre in Australia from 19th to the 20th of June. Sakyu Sanevua, FBC News.
Coming up in sports, Fiji thrashes Japan in Pacific Rugby Cup. And Army retains Silver Local League cricket title.
Imbula bina na turanga na marama na turbugi na ngone lewa. Imbula bina rangone. Karuita kini marata itiron tabi bingomi na bio liba ni Radio Fiji 1 na dabay viti na bunga ni biyano yano. Oya upio ratuanga na muni daw ni bengravi. Na makia mo na kita tiri karua mo ni tiki na barumbuka. Ene wasini ngone baruta ki kilo manikoro iluto na karomo.
Welcome back, this is FBC Sports. The TFL Fiji Warriors side have recorded their first win in the World Rugby Pacific Challenge after defeating Junior Japan by 83-0. The Fijians scored 13 tries in total and outclassed the Japanese in all aspects of the match. Here are the match highlights.
fitting. Yadrana. The loss of 2 wickets.
In other matches played today, Samoa A edged out Canada A 19-17, while Argentina Pampers proved too strong for Tonga A, winning 31-7. Ami has successfully defended the Suva Local Cricket League title after defeating Yandrana by 8 wickets in the final today. Yandrana batted first and were all out in 76 runs in 18 overs. In reply, Ami reached the target in 13 overs with a loss of 2 wickets. Rain disrupted play, but they managed to complete the play after a couple of stoppages. The game was held at the Albert Park in Suva. The Capital Force netball side has made a good start to the 2015 Digicel Punjab Super League. The side defeated Stallion Starlets 71-29 in their first outing and looked good to claim the title. In another match played today, Western Hits defeated Central Swifts 64-24. The Netball Super League continues next weekend. 7 players will represent Fiji at the 2015 Oceania Snooker Championships in New Zealand later this month. The players were farewell last night by the Fiji Snooker Association. The association are hoping for good performance by the players.
We have to take further step and send our player to take the part in overseas, and they can also play a good game and learn more of things there and bring the title for Fiji.
The tournament will be played from the 17th to the 30th of this month. The New Zealand cricket side finished their pool matches at the World Cup with a hard-fought 3-wicket win against Bangladesh last night. Remember, you can catch daily highlights of the World Cup on FBC TV. Overcast and cloudy conditions with occasional rain were experienced over the country today. While the effects of Tropical Cyclone Pam were felt intermittently, the temperatures remained in the 30s with a high of 32 recorded in the capital and a low of 29 degrees in the north for Savu-Savu and Lambasa. Tomorrow expect showers and thunderstorms across the country throughout the day. A strong wind warning remains in force for all Fiji waters. Further outlook: occasional showers and few thunderstorms over most places. West to northwest winds 20 to 30 knots, gusting to 45 knots. Rough to very rough seas, moderate westerly swells. Recapping our main stories, the Nandi Weather Office continues to enforce a heavy rain warning as Superstorm Pam moves away. 207 Fijians are currently being housed in 5 evacuation centers in Taveuni and the Western Division. And divisional commissioners continue to monitor the weather situation. To our poll question this week, we ask, should Pio Tuwai play for Fiji in the Hong Kong Sevens? Visit our FBC website to take part. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizensites@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via our Facebook page FBC News, or if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC News or simply hashtag FBC News. And that's our bulletin for today. Join the team again at the same time tomorrow. Nimo Demanda.